I think, therefore I am. The reading of all good books is like conversation with the finest men of past centuries. Doubt is the origin of wisdom. If you would be a real seeker after truth, it is necessary that at least once in your life you doubt as far as possible all things. Divide each difficulty into as many parts as is feasible and necessary to resolve it. Except our own thoughts, there is nothing absolutely in our power. The greatest minds are capable of the greatest vices as well as of the greatest virtues. It is not enough to have a good mind, the main thing is to use it well. The first precept was never to accept a thing as true until I knew it as such without a single doubt. I am indeed amazed when I consider how weak my mind is and how prone to error. Common sense is the most fairly distributed thing in the world. Each problem that I solved became a rule which served afterwards to solve other problems. It is possible to attain knowledge which is very useful in life, and instead of a speculative philosophy which is imaginary, to find a practical philosophy which works. Whenever anyone has offended me, I try to raise my soul so high that the offense cannot reach it. To know what people really think, pay attention to what they do, rather than what they say. In order to improve the mind, we ought less to learn than to contemplate. Perfect numbers like perfect men are very rare. Conquer yourself rather than the world. Everything is self-evident. There is nothing more ancient than the truth. The senses deceive from time to time, and it is prudent never to trust wholly those who have deceived us even once. Good sense is, of all things among men, the most equally distributed. I am accustomed to sleep and in my dreams to imagine the same things that lunatics imagine when awake. You just keep pushing. I made every mistake that could be made, but I just kept pushing. Traveling is almost like talking with those of other centuries. Whenever I have found that I have blundered, or that my work has been imperfect, and when I have been contemptuously criticized, and even when I have been overpraised, so that I have felt mortified, it has been my greatest consolation to say hundreds of times to myself that I have done my best. Illusory joy is often worth more than genuine sorrow. In order to seek truth, it is necessary once in the course of our life to doubt as far as possible of all things. Provisional morality, obey the laws and customs of my country, holding constantly to the Catholic religion and governing myself in all other matters according to the most moderate opinions accepted in practice by the most sensible people. The reading of all good books is like a conversation with the finest minds of past centuries. It is not enough to have a good mind. The main thing is to use it well. True knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. To live without philosophizing is in truth the same as keeping the eyes closed without attempting to open them. The first step towards knowledge is to know that we are ignorant. Reading all good books is like a conversation with the finest people of past centuries. Every problem that is not impossible has a solution. It is only prudent never to place complete confidence in that by which we have even once been deceived. The will is so free in its nature that it can never be constrained. The principal mark of genius is not perfection but originality, the opening of new frontiers. We do not describe the world we see the world we can describe. To know what people really think, pay attention to what they do rather than what they say. I would give all I know except what I need to know. It is necessary to believe and to doubt, to affirm and to deny, to hold opinions and to hold them lightly. I am a thing that thinks, that is to say, that doubts, affirms, denies, knows a few things, is ignorant of many. The preservation of health should be the first study of a man. To live well, you must live unseen. When it is not in our power to determine what is true, we ought to follow what is most probable. The first step to being wise is to know that you know nothing. Nothing is more fairly distributed than common sense. No one thinks he needs more of it than he already has. To reach a good solution, the problem must be well understood.